How's it going, everyone? So today we are reviewing a drip coffee machine. This is a Capresso ST300 stainless steel coffee maker. I believe they have a different model that's pretty much same computer components, but with a glass kind of like carafe. That one sells for quite a lot cheaper. So if you're interested in the same performance but a more budget-friendly option, do look out for that model with a glass carafe. Okay. So the ST300 features a full stainless steel construction, including the carafe, which actually retains the heat much better. It's double layer compared to the glass carafe, which is just one layer. We flip to the side just to quickly look at the features of this drip coffee maker. So it makes 10 cups of coffee maximum, and also stainless steel, blah blah blah. So it's also got a special setting to maximize flavor when you're only brewing 1 to 4 cups in the morning. You don't want to do a full brew. They have a special setting for that. And for the nozzle spray, they got multiple nozzle sprays to ensure an even full saturation of the coffee grounds when the water gets heated up and gets injected into the coffee ground area. And it's got a drip stop option or like feature. So if you take the glass out, it's gonna stop making coffee during the process, so you can pour 1 cup and put it back in, and it's gonna continue to make the coffee. And it's got charcoal filters that removes impurities in the water. That filter, just keep in mind, you have to change it quite often for it to be effective, so it's optional. And 1 charcoal filter and holder is included. Electronic filter indicator when the filter needs to be replaced. Again, all those charcoal filter options is optional, you don't have to use it. And also got an auto safety shutoff and stainless steel housing on the all exterior of the coffee machine, and 1-year warranty. So quite interestingly, I bought this coffee machine probably like half a year ago. I never even opened it, and today I'm opening it because our yard is being plagued with a snail and slug problem for our vegetable garden. My wife has tasked me with making some coffee as a home remedy to spray on the leaves, so we could kind of fix that slug problem. So we don't usually drink coffee or drip coffee. As you can see on the back, we love our espresso and lattes in the mornings, but I decided, what the hell, I'm just gonna give this a try, and today is gonna be the first time I'm taking this out and brewing a cup of coffee. This is from New Orleans, I believe, and this coffee has been expired for about 12 years. And the perfect coffee to be used for gardening, pesticide remedy, right? All right, so let's take it out. I'm gonna show you guys what's inside. Got a user manual, and you've got this machine. I'm gonna actually take it out and show it to you guys. So right here. I mean, the packaging is pretty standard, kind of feels cheap almost in a way. This is a carafe, or I don't know how do you call it, carafe. Looks to be well made. This is the coffee machine itself. Now, when it says stainless steel construction, keep in mind the majority of the components on the machine is steel plastic, so it's very light. Okay, it doesn't feel like a premium coffee machine. It doesn't feel like a Gaja, which is like quite a lot heavier. This one is like super light, so not quite appliance grade yet. I would say, or machine grade, but this is just like a light duty appliance that you can keep in your house and replace when it breaks. All right, so yeah, very plasticky. The only part that's stainless steel is just very thin, extremely thin wrap of plastic around the coffee machine. And if you look at the back, fully exposed cheap plastic. Okay, so Yeah, in terms of build quality, it's not that good. For $100, I kind of expected more from a drip coffee machine, because pretty much you could just get a drip coffee machine at Walmart, like Mr. Coffee, for like 20 bucks, and it makes decent coffee. This one is $100. Let's see. All right, so if I open this up, it does look like it's, so there's a little coffee charcoal filter. It's replaceable. So I bet you could have some options for aftermarket ones if you want to do that, to keep your water like nice and clean. But again, Florida, Miami tap water is extremely good, so we don't really even need to use any kind of filter. This is what's inside. It does feel like a double layer construction, so if I put my hands, I can feel there is a thick wall in between. So it's gonna keep your coffee nice and hot. And I guess the price you pay for the premium is mainly for this like slightly better constructed carafe. All right. The top is plastic. This is plastic. So there's a lot of plastic components on here, but it gets the job done and it keeps the temperature nice and hot compared to the cheaper ones. The top part of the coffee machine is just like, yeah, I mean, it's very, it feels very cheaply made, if you know what I mean. And if you look at the top, here is your removable filter basket, a stainless steel mesh, quite fine. I like this because we always like do compost for our coffee grounds, for espresso pucks and whatever. And this thing also, we can just dump it out into our compost bin and you know, have the coffee grounds nicely compost for future, you know, gardening work. And you can see the water tray is on the back. Now the downside with this is the tray is I don't know what this is. I think maybe it's for the charcoal filter, I believe. So let me put the charcoal filter in here. So basically, this is the filter holder, and you just put this little charcoal filter in here to get, you know, get the water nicely charcoaled. But again, keep in mind, I'm making this as coffee using expired coffee for pesticide purpose, so I'm not gonna use the charcoal filter for now. The water tank is not removable, okay? It does have a nice indicator on the side where if the water gets low, so the water kind of rests over here. This is 4 cups, 6, 8, and maximum of 10 cups. Don't overfill above 10 because it's gonna overflow, which is bad. And also this doesn't hold over 10 cups of coffee. So that's pretty much the interior. And again, extremely simple machine. On the back, you can see like everything's like pretty much just exposed. You guys know what's funny? This water tank, if you overfill it above 10, the water is gonna come out from the back hole. This entire thing is a water tank. It's a plastic water tank. So the water is gonna come out from here. And your table is gonna be really messy if you overfill it above 10 cups. So definitely keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, this is just like very funny looking and silly design for overflow protection, all right? So you have a cord right here. It's not terribly long. Okay. And we're gonna plug it in. And I believe what you are also paying for a premium is the some of the computer programming features that's being included at the front panel right here. So you have the auto function, you have a filter, reset reminder, on off, a special brew of 1 to 4 cups. And here you can set the time for the machine to automatically make drip coffee in the morning, I believe, which would be a quite nice feature for people who wakes up in the morning and are ready to go to work, and you can just pour a cup of coffee. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let's see. And this top door, again, it's kind of flimsy and cheaply made. So yeah, I'm not so confident about its durability since I've been using a Gaja and previously a Profitec espresso machine for quite a long time, you can feel such a difference between a well-made machine and the plastic cheapo. Okay, so I'm just gonna unplug my espresso actually, and plug this in here. Makes a loud beep. So, okay, very simple machine. If you hit program, this is the time that you set you want the machine to make coffee the next day or every day. Once you have that set, it already disappears. If you hit auto, it tells you the program is gonna run tomorrow at 9:47 a.m. And if you hit auto again, you're gonna turn off that auto brewing feature. Okay, so that's your automation over there for daily brewing. And over here you have a filter. So I guess if you press that, it's gonna reset the filter once it tells you it's about time to change the water filter in the tank. This is your specialty brew option. I guess if you hit that, it might just make a strong brew. I don't know, like it doesn't, it's just one button to enable and disable for 1 to 4 cups. So maybe it makes less at a higher temperature. I'm just guessing, I don't know. That's your specialty brew option. And also, and that's pretty much it. Nothing fancy, nothing out of ordinary also. And again, I don't personally feel like this is worth $100, to be honest. It's just very cheap and simple machine. So as I fill the water cup, I realized it actually holds quite a lot of water. It's a large water tank, okay? Much larger than the Gaja, because the Gaja only needs to, you know, sprout 25 milliliters each time. This one is like a whole cups thing. So I got 6 cups in, and I just need to get maybe 4 more cups. So you guys can see the indicator right here. And the indicator is only on one side. So unfortunately, if you're lefty, you can't see it from the other side, right? So that's, again, your limitation right there. I'm gonna pour a few more, get it to 10, and we'll see how long it takes to actually brew 10 cups of coffee, okay? All right, guys, so I had to go away to make our espresso. So I had to turn the machine and the video off, and what I want to show you guys now is how silly that, you know, backflow drip thing is. Like, I had water still in there, and if you overflow it, it's just gonna come out like this. Kind of like funny execution of a overflow thing over there, okay? But the worst part is it doesn't have a maximum indicator. It doesn't say max here. So if you fill all the way here, without knowing, the water is all going to be flowing out and on your table, but you're going to realize it once it's too late. So it's kind of like a really bad design, in my opinion. And also, if you unplug it, sadly, the time gets reset. It doesn't have a battery inside that saves the time. So every single time you unplug it, or if you have it on a like an automatic switch, like what I had for my espresso machines, every time it resets, the timer gets reset. So now you gotta enter this again. So now it's 10:16 now. All right, so, and then you have to reprogram your saved settings. So everything gets lost once the power is gone. Another thing that I kind of thought a $100 machine would actually hopefully remember the settings, it doesn't. Everything gets reset. The programming is only defaulting to 6. So again, if you if you want to go to make a coffee at 8:30 every morning, you set it to 8:30. I'm just gonna show you guys really quickly so you know how it works. And once the programming went away, this little light goes away. You're gonna hit the auto button to enable the auto coffee making at 8:30 a.m. That's how the auto function works. Again, the filter, we're not using it. We're not, even putting any filters in there. So if it does come up, just hit the reset once, it needs a new filter or whatever. And on and off, right now it's off, okay? I have the water in here, and I'm gonna actually put the cup down there now, carafe, whatever it's called. So the top looks like this, kind of interesting design. It's a slit, and again, plastic closures, plastic everything. And if you put it here, now notice this is kind of like I guess a good design. If you press this, the water flows out, and if you don't press it, it prevents the water from coming out. So it's like a little safety feature over here, which is quite nice, I guess. And now I'm gonna put it in here. This is gonna be the first run without any coffee, okay? I'm just gonna let it heat up and see how fast it's gonna brew a full cup of 10 cups of coffee. So I'm gonna hit on. When you hit on, the power button powers on. You can hear a little click. It's now trying to heat up the water or the heating plate in there to actually make steam to push all the waters out into the carafe, okay? So now the time is 11:17, and I have about 10 cups in there, like maybe 9.5 cups of water. And quite interestingly, the water is already flowing, okay? So it must heat up like extremely fast. It's already flowing. So I'm curious, the next step, I'm gonna actually put some coffee in there and see how fast from the water starts to go into the tray to the water, to the filter, coffee comes out, okay? Now, if you're interested in an espresso machine review, I have plenty of Gaja Classic Pro reviews and also a Profitec Gold review. So if you're an espresso drinker, definitely go check them out. I'm actually gonna post a link on the top on those review links. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna enjoy my latte while it's pushing the water out. So if you look on the side, here's where the water is now. About 2 minutes in, we pushed in about almost 2 cups of water. So I would say the rate is gonna be about 1 cup per minute. So if you have 10 cups, I would assume it's gonna use about 10 minutes of time, maybe. We'll find out. And I might just fast forward this so you guys don't have to wait. All right, I also want to test the auto stop feature. So I'm gonna try to see if I take this out, if the water is still gonna be flowing or not. Oh, pretty good. So yeah, that is a really nice feature that I like from the ST300, is the safety feature, so the water doesn't really come out. And now another thing that I'm curious is, does it have a heating element in here to keep the coffee warm? And it turns out it doesn't look like so. And why? Because this cup itself is able to retain that heat for quite a lot longer, so you don't really need a reheating plate at the bottom to keep this, you know, nice and warm for an extended period of time, because the carafe itself keeps it nice and warm. So I guess in that sense, it actually is saving quite a lot of energy from a energy efficiency point of view. So despite the cheaper construction that I felt, despite the limited feature functions, I think now, after I have used it for the first time, I would actually now appreciate some of the more features, some of the features that actually make sense now. And I shouldn't complain about the build quality, because it's appliance and it works. And right now the time is 11:21. We started at 17, and we have about 5 cups left. So we need probably another 5 more minutes. So yes, so my guess is if it's 10 cups, it's gonna take about 8 to 10 minutes to make a full cup. And if you have half of that, you should be able to expect like 4 cups of coffee in less than 5 minutes once you hit that brew button. Okay, so compared to the espresso, it takes about 1.5 minutes to warm up, another 30 to 45 seconds to press out the espresso, and another probably 1 to 2 minutes to make a latte. So in terms of like the serving size, this is much faster. Okay, in terms of taste, obviously we still prefer the espresso, so we don't mind that it takes a little longer to make just 1 cup, but you know, different people have different preferences. So really, now I would say this is actually a good coffee machine based on first round impression. Now next section, again, we're gonna brew some coffee and see how well it performs with brewing the coffee and how easy it is to clean the filter and things. Alright, it looks like we're at the end of it. You can see there are quite a lot of excessive steams gets pushed out from this area. It gets quite hot. So the top part of this machine, the plastic system, is actually connected to the dripping mechanism. So this top cover actually had a function. The steam travels to the top on this plate and it gets, you know, pushed down the drip tray, and that steam, you know, again gets dripped into the coffee machine. So this cover had its own purpose. Now remember, before I said this cover looks cheap, again I take that back. It is designed with a purpose. So the power is still on. It's still trying to push the steam in there, and I can still see some water flowing in there. So, but it feels like it's almost over. Yeah. If you lift this cup during the brewing, it actually would stop the brewing process, because again the steam has to come when the cup is done. If you lift this up, the steam all gets pushed out from the cup area, so that doesn't work. Now we're at 27 minute mark. Again, we started at 17 minutes, so 10 minutes to brew 10 cups of coffee. And with that, if in the morning you just need 4 cups of coffee, I would assume it's gonna finish in less than 5 minutes. Okay, and let's see whether it's gonna automatically turn itself off, because there's no water flowing anymore, so it should turn itself off, hopefully. Okay, and once it's done, again, exact 10 minutes. Amazing. It gives you a beep and it turns itself off. At this moment, you don't have to press anything. The coffee is done, and you could just pull this out and you have a nice cup of very nicely, I guess, preserved, warm, hot coffee. Now, the top plate is extremely hot at this moment, so be extremely careful when you open the top. And you can see the steam is still coming out. Quite a lot of steam. And I would assume this machine is actually quite powerful, at least 1200 watts, at least. Feels like it's just like heating up extremely fast, okay? So it draws a lot of power. And here's the little drip tray, and again, it was empty because I didn't put any coffee in here. And next, I'm actually going to put the coffee in here. The first pre-run was pretty nice. So this is the first section, and you can also take this out and clean this fully. So the sectional design is actually quite nice and easy to clean. And you don't have to dump water out of here, because every time you brew the coffee, the water is all emptied out, okay? And show you guys the top. The water gets spit out through this little 5 holes. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any pressure, but it does make the water come out more evenly compared to just one big hole right there, okay? Okay, so first round is done. I want to see what 10 cups feels like in here. And I'm gonna actually Let's see if it actually leaks out. So it's a nice design, so the water doesn't come out unless you hit this. So pretty cool. Yeah, I guess the price you're paying is a nicer design, especially on the carafe, which again keeps the temperature nice and warm. And also, just looks like this inside. Forgot to show you guys what it looks like, how much water it is in the tin cups in here. But why don't I just fill this up? And I was reading the instruction, and they said if you want the best performance, you should run this in hot water to make sure it's extremely hot. And then you put it in there and start brewing, so it's gonna keep the temperature even better. That's according to the instruction, okay? So let me fill this up. And then I'll pour it in here again. See what tin cups we're at. Right. So I filled it almost full. I'm gonna come here and start pouring it in. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now that only poured out about 8 cups, so I wouldn't suggest using this to pour, especially if you had coffee in there, because this is only designed for fresh water. So yeah, if you're making 10 cups, it's gonna be very full in here. I just want to fill it a little more to get to 10. And we'll brew 10 cups of coffee with actual coffee grounds, expired coffee grounds, that is. All right. Okay, so now let me put some coffee in here. And again, I'm gonna put the carafe back in there, lock it. Coffee time. Again, expired coffee. Looks like I need a can opener to actually open this. So at least it's vacuum packed, right? Wow. So it doesn't have much, frequent smells left, but it doesn't also smell bad. So I would say it probably should still be able to make some decent coffee after 12 years. Let's find out. I'm going to actually fill it all the way. Actually, let me read the instructions. I don't want to. I filled it halfway. I want to see how much coffee am I supposed to put in there. So here's the instruction. Do not exceed 14 level tablespoons of coffee in the filter. So I guess 1 level tablespoon of ground coffee per cup. Okay, I didn't read the instruction. Too bad, but I filled it half. So let's just make the first cup with half of the coffee grounds in here with 10 cups of coffee, and let's see how well it works. Okay. And again, I'm just going to hit the brew button. Again, I'm assuming 10 cups, so it's gonna be done at about 11:45, okay? All right, so brewing first cup of coffee with actual coffee grounds in there, expired, that is. Now I can actually start measuring for the next brew, and again 1 tablespoon per cup. That's the recommended maximum So I want to let you guys see the water flowing action right there. Once the water flow stops, the coffee machine again is gonna make a loud beep and it's gonna stop itself. Right now it's still flowing a little bit, but almost done. And we're at about 8 minutes. Okay, so almost 10 minutes. So with coffee, it feels like it actually makes a full cup like a little bit faster. And the flow stopped. Or maybe still a little bit. But guess what, guys? My first impression that this machine is a cheap machine, only because I have been using espresso machines for quite a long time. And now, after making a test run, after making the first cup of coffee, actually it smells pretty good. This expired coffee is preserved pretty well. So yeah, I'm impressed. So I think I'm definitely gonna keep this machine. Just, you know, whenever we don't feel like making espresso, we can just get some, you know, ground coffee and pour it in here. Instantly, we can make up to 10 cups of coffee in one run. Super fast, super easy. Now, actually, let's take this out. Ooh. Yeah, take this out. Quite hot, right? Take a look at the coffee. And this is the ground, right? So still pretty hot. I'm gonna dump the ground in the compost bin behind. Try my best. The filter is quite nice. It's a very fine filter, so nothing, you know, nasty comes out, which is a really nice thing. And here's the compost bin, and I'm just gonna dump it. All right, most of the stuff is out. And I'm just gonna do a rinse. And it should be ready to be used again. Pretty nice. Now this thing, the second layer, you can wash it or not, but it looks pretty clean. I mean, just as a precaution, I'm just gonna wash it, wash off the old coffee grounds, and I'm gonna put it in here. Again, put this in here. Everything drops in and aligns themselves, so you don't have to do much. Close it. All right, so let's take a look at the coffee that we just brewed. Let's see if I can show you guys with a better angle. Right, okay. Now again, safety feature, quite nice. I need to turn this to the unlock position, take it out, and it pretty much brewed just as much coffee as I, you know, put the water in here. Quite nice. It's still got a little bit of plasticky smell. I believe it's, you know, the first couple rounds, it's the new machine is always gonna smell kind of funky. I'm using this, keep in mind, I'm using the first couple rounds as pesticide, so it's not gonna matter much. I'm gonna save those coffee into a empty container, and I'm actually gonna make a few more. The next one I'm gonna make using the maximum recommended dose, so I can know how much coffee am I supposed to be putting into the basket. And you guys would also know without having to look at the instructions. I know not everybody likes to look at the instructions anyway. So, okay, let me just dump this really quick into a container. It's quite an intense looking coffee, okay? Pretty dark. Put some ice cube in here. I should be able to make another 10 cups and fill this. ready for spraying. All right, so let's just go. So if you look inside, it's not a very fine mesh, so coffee grounds gets washed in here. So you definitely want to actually wash this after you finish using it, just to get the coffee grounds out completely. And sometimes it's hard because, again, the edge is not, you know, very well aligned with the plastic ring surrounding it. So you just wash it a couple times and make sure most of the stuff is out. I think it's good enough. And again, we're gonna make another, and this also leaks a little bit. Okay, make another cup, why not? So we definitely put this machine into an intense first round test, and I would say so far I'm actually quite impressed with its performance. It made the coffee very consistently. Now again, this side, this is not heated, okay? It's only warm because the bottom of the coffee cup is kind of warm. Okay guys, so a second brew with the coffee, and to save time, this time I already pre-filled the water. I got a coffee scoop. This is 1 tablespoon. I read the instruction. According to the instruction, 1 full tablespoon per cup of coffee. So ideally, it's gonna be around 10 scoops. And so I'm gonna do 10 scoops into the coffee filter. 1, 2, 3. And guess what? 10 scoops is about my estimate when I poured the amount in here without measuring. So about halfway of the filter, as you can see, okay? And that's 10 scoops. And they said you could add extra 3 to 4 scoops, but that's gonna be the maximum amount you want to fill this area for to enhance to make the coffee slightly stronger. So, you know, ideally I could add 1 extra scoop. So that's like 11 scoops for 10 cups of coffee. And I think it's already a strong enough coffee. So I'm gonna close it and we're gonna start brewing our second round of this coffee machine. Okay. And we're gonna, again, another probably 15 minutes past, I'm gonna hit the start button. We're gonna come back at around 12:15 because that's our 12:10. That's how long it's gonna take to brew. And we're continue with the review. We're almost done, and so far I'm actually getting more and more impressed each cup of coffee each batch of coffee that I brew. So yeah, overall a great coffee machine. Let's start. So second cup just finished at around 9 minutes, and excellent job. Now the coffee machine itself is actually quite hot, like all the areas are like quite hot. So just be really careful when you try to reach for the handle and everything, and try not to touch the coffee machine for a little. I'm gonna open this up and just have it kind of like cool itself down just a little faster. Okay, like so. And take this out. So yeah, this is a second brew, and I'm gonna just pour everything in here, and that will be enough for my wife to use as pesticide to spray on the leaves and stuff to prevent the slugs and snails from, you know, climbing up the leaf and eating the vegetable garden stuff. And so this time I'm gonna use a little cup. And the good thing is it's not too hot to the touch, so you don't have to worry about like burning your hands when you're trying to, you know, pour the coffee. not like a glass container where if you touch it, extremely hot, okay? Works great. Very easy to pour. I'm gonna show you guys a better way. Very nice. And there you have it. So, still can pour a little more out. Let's see. All right. And I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna clean the coffee machine. And after those 2 rounds, I would say the machine is pretty much ready to be used for regular coffee brewing for us. And I'm gonna go get some ground coffee. And keep in mind, the coffee is more important than the coffee machine. So if you have some really nice beans, any kind of cheap machine would still be able to produce a delicious tasting coffee. But this machine, again, it saves you a lot of trouble. I said it's cheaply made, which it is. However, all the functions that's built into the machine are actually quite useful. The auto programming function for daily automatic brewing, and the auto stop when you take it out, and the super easy to clean filter. All those actually added a lot of bonus to my first comment when I said the machine is cheap. Like, it works great. And for $100 now, if you ask me would I pay for it, probably I would pay for it after using it. But if you haven't used a machine that costs this much, it's really hard to justify spending $100. But I would say it's worth it. If you're looking for a coffee machine that's very easy to use, almost maintenance free, and very easy to clean, I would say go for the Capresso ST300. It's a great choice. And as you can see from this extended review, it's very easy to make coffee, very easy to clean, and it works just as advertised.
All right, guys, so I have grown to like the Capresso ST300 quite a lot after my initial review and first impression when I made coffee with expired coffee grounds. And today I'm actually using my espresso coffee beans, and I'm brewing about 4 cups of coffee. And so I have a chance to use the specialty brewing option. And what that option does is it slows down the steaming process, so slightly less power, so the steam comes out slower, which gives the coffee grounds more time to soak in those steams more slowly. So if you have any brewing less than 4 cups, I suggest to use this feature so it brews a little bit slower, so it gives you a little bit more flavor, okay? And that's the only difference. But I can already smell this coffee smells really good. And again, I'm using my espresso beans, which is a medium roast bean, just you can get from Costco, wherever. So this is actually a cup of real coffee that I'm gonna be drinking, not the one that I'm gonna use for pesticide, right? Yeah, smells great. So this would actually sum up my final review of the Capresso ST300. I would take my initial impression of the cheap build quality of the espresso, the coffee machine back, because despite the fact, you know, it's all plastic, it's actually performing at its best. It's like very fast to heat up, very easy to make coffee, and very easy to set automatic programming, provided you have to keep this machine connected for the clock to work. If the machine ever gets reset, you're not gonna have your coffee on time, and you have to reset everything and reprogram everything. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm just going to be really excited about drinking this cup of coffee, and also telling you guys that if you're looking for a high performance coffee machine with the ability to pre-program and make coffee every morning, and also the ability to make specialty coffee by brewing slower, you should give the Capresso ST300 a serious consideration. Is $100 worth it? At this moment, I would say absolutely yes. I'm gonna be enjoying using this machine quite a lot, and compared to my espresso setup, $100 is nothing. Okay, so my first impression, again, I have to say sorry, but this machine is fantastic. The espresso setup, this is about $400 and that's about $800. So the total setup for espresso machine, you know, the cheapest one you can probably get is gonna be around $1,000 and up for a proper setup. But look at this, you can use any kind of grounds. You can use pre-ground beans, you can use, you know, beans and then grind yourself. If you have an espresso machine like grinder already, just make it more coarse and you should be able to enjoy a regular cup of drip coffee, right? So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please do hit the like button or subscribe to my channel, and I will have more coffee related videos coming out for you guys. And as you can see, it's just about to finish. I can hear that the steam runs out and it's gonna beep and tell me that the coffee is ready to drink, right? Again, this little carafe is also great because it holds the coffee nice and warm without having to heat up the bottom, which again is a cost saving measure in the long run. So highly suggest this machine. Okay.
So if you guys have any questions about the ST300, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. Yes, I'm gonna keep this machine instead of selling it, and we're gonna brew some regular coffee whenever we feel like, if we don't want the espresso for the weekend. You know what I mean? All right, thanks again, guys. And please do hit the thumbs up button or subscribe to my channel. I will have more espresso coffee related videos coming out for you guys. Thanks again. See you in the next video. Take care.